ready, it comes pretty fast.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Hudson Valley. Whether you've been with this congregation a decade or more, or this is your first time visiting, we welcome you. Whatever the faith and traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, we welcome you. Whoever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. Whatever your heritage, we welcome you. We respectfully acknowledge the territory on which our church building sits as the ancestral homelands of the Muncie, Lenape, and Wappinger people. I have a couple of announcements. Save the date for our annual spring cleanup, which will be next Saturday from 9 to 1. We will all come together and spruce up our outdoor and indoor facilities. Please stop by for the whole morning or just an hour. Coffee, bagels, and donuts will be available. Questions? See Betsy Tomic or Chris Oliver for more information. The nominating committee is looking for candidates for our Board of Trustees. Do you have any recommendations? Do you have any questions about what it entails? Would you consider serving UUCHV by joining the board? The nominating committee would love to hear from you. See Gary Simon, Betsy Cates, or Allie Fraze, none of whom I think is here right now. You can see me too. The Social Justice Committee will have its first Clean the Highway activity on Saturday, May 24th from 10 to 12. Information and sign-ups will be available during coffee hour after today's service. See Bob Hudson, Bernie Croft, or Betsy Tomic. For the most up-to-date information on these topics and others, please refer to our weekly e-newsletter and check our website frequently. And please join us for conversation after the service. If you're present in the sanctuary, please join us for coffee and conversation in Fellowship Hall. If you're watching the live stream, the link for our Zoom coffee hour can be found in the Saturday reminder in your email. If you're just recently joining us and would like to receive our weekly e-news, please email us at uucroton@gmail.com with your name, and we will be sure you are added to our e-news list. Also, please remember to silence your cell phones at this time. Once again, we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Hudson Valley.
Today we welcome back Reverend Michael Tino. Michael Tino is part of the lead ministry team at the Church of the Larger Fellowship, our UU congregation without borders or walls. CLF's membership includes some 1,800 incarcerated Unitarian Universalists. For 15 years, Michael served as the minister of our sibling congregation in Mount Kisco, New York, and they are delighted to return regularly to UUCHV. They live in Peekskill with their husband and daughter. Please welcome back Reverend Michael.
Good morning on this beautiful, bright, wonderful Sunday in spring, when the irises are abounding in the front yard of my garden. We gather to celebrate joy. On this complicated day when many celebrate motherhood, but many understand it to not be such a joyous occasion, we gather to celebrate joy. In my house, this day is known as Gender Nonspecific Nurturing Parental Figure Day of 2. And so if that's what it is for you as well, welcome. We gather to celebrate joy today. Amidst all that is going on in our world, let us understand joy this morning. I'm going to invite our children to ring the bell. Yes, with Luke? If anyone wants to join Luke in ringing our bell, an unspecified number of times for the unspecified love that we pour into our community.
Today's chalice lighting words are from Anne Frank. I can feel the suffering of millions, and yet, if I look up into the heavens, I think that it will all come right, that this cruelty too will end, and that peace and tranquility will return again. In the meantime, I must uphold my ideals, for perhaps the time will come when I shall be able to carry them out. Now please join me in reciting our unison affirmation. The words are in your order of service. Inspired by love, our mission is to seek our true nature, connect deeply and openly, and act for justice.
I'm hoping you'll join me in a conversation for the next couple of minutes. When is the last time you had a really good laugh? Like one of those uncontrollable belly laughs.
Last night I saw The Importance of Being Earnest.
Okay, so you saw a funny play,
Yeah.
and it made you laugh because it's a pretty ridiculous play. Yeah. When was the last time? Margie?
Yesterday was Oh Mary.
Okay. So we have lots of people who get to laugh in theaters, which is awesome. So, Oh Mary, Importance of Being Earnest. When was the last time you laughed?
Like, last night, my sister pulled out a sock and put it in my face and I laughed.
Okay. So your sister did something funny and it made you laugh. And that's awesome because sometimes the people that we love know the things that make us laugh, and they do those things in order to bring us joy. Anyone else? If you don't remember the last time, think of a time.
I was with my 3 sisters.
With your 3 sisters.
Yes.
And just enjoying one another's company.
Just
And
something came up and we couldn't stop
yeah,
laughing.
you've known your sisters a long time, and they know exactly what it is. You probably have in jokes among the 4 of you. Yeah.
Recently I went to a comedy night sponsored by Planned Parenthood. So it was all about sex jokes.
Okay. So a comedy night designed to make you laugh. So there are people that we pay to make us laugh too, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. It's a good thing.
Or my grandson doing some silly thing.
Oh, your grandson.
And it brings a smile to my face.
My kids and I were making up fictional names for prescription medications.
I'm going to say this into the microphone so the people on YouTube know that her kids and she made up fictional names for prescription medications.
I'm not the list, I'm not to you and the service.
Oh, good.
Kind of similar to what she did. Me and my dad were mocking those silly, weird medicine commercials on TV.
Yeah, so like there are lots of things we can mock. We can just because there's lots of ridiculousness in our world around us, and medicine ads on TV are among the most ridiculous things. Like anytime you listen to the potential side effects of a medicine.
Me and my little brother were playing this ball game, and Leo kept losing.
So playing with your brother. We're gonna go with playing with your brother.
I saw a meme on one of the social media with this little baby named Leo, and the parents had put on like all this Pope stuff on him, and it was hysterical.
So people are funny on social media. One of the reasons why we enjoy social media is that people post funny things, memes and pictures, and sometimes they're cats and sometimes they're not. You know. Anyone else? What else makes you laugh?
Yeah, my sister and I, we have a regular conversation on Sunday, and, yeah, she just said something that's really funny. She's got a great sense of humor.
So your sister and you have a regular conversation and you make each other, hopefully you make each other laugh.
Yeah.
My daughter recently was like in this really like grumpy mood, and like she said something really grumpy, and we all just stopped, and the whole family cracked up. I don't even remember what it was, but like it got her right out of that grumpy mood. That like she was like we all just absolutely cracked up, and we couldn't stop laughing, and it was just a most wonderful thing, and it definitely dispelled that grumpy mood. Anybody else?
Well, I've been trying to get him to watch the show Dairy Girls for years, and I finally got him to start. In just the first episode, he was laughing so hard he had like tears streaming down his face, which made me start laughing so hard because it was just enjoyable to like experience that with him.
So two things. One, a really funny show, and two is joy in someone that you love, right? So someone that you love is laughing, it can make, it's infectious, right? It brings us all joy. Well, we're gonna be talking more about joy today, and I'm gonna invite our children to go to religious exploration, and I don't know who's bringing them there. Is it Luke? You can stay and talk about joy.
We come together in community to share with one another, to support one another, and to celebrate with one another. We bear sacred witness to each other in this honored ritual. As we begin, we know that there are both great sorrows and great joys in this world that must be acknowledged. We light our first candle to honor those in pain, victims of violence and war and oppression all around our world. We light a second candle because we understand that amidst all of that pain, there is also celebration and joy in our world, and we honor that joy and sorrow are woven together. For some of us here today, this happens to be a week of life-changing joy that needs to be lifted up in worship. For others, this has been a time of deep pain and sorrow that should be shared to make the burden lighter. If this has been such a time for you, I invite you to come forward, and I will light a candle, and you can briefly tell us your joy or sorrow. You may also raise your hand in silent acknowledgement of your joys and sorrows, and we will light a candle here for you. I would like to start by lighting a candle for my spouse, Chris, and my daughter, Maggie, and for them being a wonderful family.
Hi, I'm Joanne Hefner. I have a joy and a concern. My concern is I have a relative having an operation on Tuesday, so I'm concerned for that. And joy is Pat and I had a wonderful time at the auction, winning Megan and Yaya's house last night. We have lots of good food and games and laughs too. So.
Hi, I'm Ginny. I go by pronouns she, hers. Jim and I had the occasion to see Birgit Huppich perform at the New York Public Library this past week in a performance of dance, but it was more than just dance. It was just the most incredible experience in a public library. We all had our headsets on, and there was a speaker and music that no one except us could appreciate and hear as we went throughout the library from room to room. And there was a troupe of dancers, and Birgit joined in the dancing in at least 2 of the rooms that we visited. All I can say, it was awesome. After last week, maybe it was a week before, some of us had the occasion to spend time after a church service and talk about awe experiences in our lives. I felt that this was a really awesome thing. So, thank you, Birgit.
Good morning. I second that emotion. I too was at at the first performance, and it was incredible. And interestingly, after it was over, it turned out there were only about 8 people featured in each of the stories that Ginny described. And along with everything else, you really learned about the New York City Public Library, Fifth Avenue branch. Wonderful little factoids. But it turned out I knew one of the other performers. It was amazing. Like, what are the chances? Anyway, this is not why I came up. I came up to light a candle for my husband. This is a candle of concern and joy. He's been suffering for months with hand pain and numbness and issues. And he works as a chef, and which is why he's always working. He's never here. And he's done things like drop a chafing dish on his finger because he's got weakness and neuropathy. So he is having a surgery on Wednesday, and the joy is, I know from that experience myself, that he will have relief, and I'm just really happy for that.
Hi, I'm Margie. My pronouns are she, her. And this was a great week for Fourth Fridays. We received grant funding from 3 different organizations to support our LGBTQ program for youth in Peekskill. So we're very happy about that.
This past week, I was able to go to Sedona, Arizona with my best friend who lives in Baltimore. We were roommates long ago in New York City, and she had a big birthday, and I said to her, like I say a lot, we should do something. And this time she said, yeah, let's go to Sedona. And not only is Sedona beautiful, there's these red rock cliffs surrounding you, and the energy is amazing. But to be able to have this lifelong friend, I realized is such a blessing, and one that I sort of was taking for granted. Like, yeah, my best friend, you know. I feel so grateful to have her in my life and to have been able to get away from, you know, my family and work and just create this special almost week with my friends. So I'm very grateful.
This candle is for my friend Mary Beth, and more specifically for her family. 3 weeks ago, Mary Beth was diagnosed with an inoperable terminal brain cancer. They told her 3 to 6 months probably, and this Wednesday she passed away peacefully, surrounded by her children and her husband, and a great light of love has left this world.
I just want to say that Happy Mother's Day, whatever it represents to you, to everybody. I have a friend, a very close friend, who is an incredible mother. She's a grandmother now, and she is just there for her kids like 1,000%. I really have always admired her for being the center of her family. Her son this week, and that's why I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that he is my son's age, and which is knocking the door on 50. But anyway, her son is having open heart surgery this week. And while it purports to be very successful and will give him some relief, it's going to be a long recovery for about 3 weeks. And my friend is already saying, oh my God, I got to prepare all those meals for him. But anyway, I wish you'd keep him in your thoughts and prayers. His name is Brian Zuckerberg.
Hi, I'm April, and I have sorrow and then some joys. I think I want to start with the sorrow so I can end on the joys. Sorrow is really just what I mentioned last week with my son and the challenges that he's having. I guess it's adolescence related, and then coming to UU, which he does love it, but even today when we walked in, he said we have to leave. We're still here, but I thought we were going to have to leave. Because he's having a hard time knowing how to hold what happens on the outside of the church, and then with the inside of the church, with the LGBTQ and trans support. The bizarre thing to me about it is that he loves all and he accepts all, but I think because he's continuing to be, I guess, harassed or persecuted because of our church, it's hard for him to hold. I've met with Reverend Daniel about it to just see how he can be supported, and how hopefully the church can, as a congregation, we can continue to lift up the other social justice issues that we care about, so there appears to be more balance, because right now it seems unbalanced, but really we're doing so much, and so we're working through that. And then I have so many joys. So one, I wanted to lift up my spouse and son too, and all the effort they put into giving me a nice Mother's Day. And then this morning, William and I went to St. Augustine's in Ossining to do a flower sale for his scout troop. And that was the first, he just joined that troop a few weeks ago, and so that was a really nice thing to do. And I also want to lift up this group of women that I've become friends with in the last, I guess we really started having brunch once a month in September, and it was really, it's become a monthly thing, and it wasn't intended, and there's just so much support and love from them, and I'm really grateful. Thank you.
We light one final candle for all the joys and sorrows that remain unexpressed, and for all of those still searching for a home where they too can share their joys and sorrows.
Would you join me in a moment of prayer, of centering, of meditation? As we take all of these joys and these sorrows expressed, the ones that remain unexpressed, and the ones that we know exist in the lives of our beloved out in the community, into our hearts, we know that we are connected to one another. And we know that even the deepest grief comes from having been connected in love. We know that the joys in this community lift us all up. And we know that the love exists to see us through times of sorrow and pain and grief. May we center ourselves in that love. May we live that love into this world fiercely and boldly, so that all might experience what it means to be deeply connected and deeply loved. Amen.
Today's reading is an excerpt from Black Joy by Reverend Kimberly Quinn Johnson. Joy unspeakable is not silent. It moans, hums, and bends to the rhythm of a dancing universe. When theologian Barbara A. Holmes talks about joy unspeakable, she's talking specifically about how the contemplative practices of the Black church have sustained Black people in America through suffering and survival. More than referring to a particular church or denomination, this experience is collective and trans-historical. It is also a different expression of Black religion than I'm expected to exhibit as a Black woman. On more than one occasion, I've had a particular mode of Black worship projected onto me, the more charismatic modes of Black worship that we're all so familiar with, the shout, the stomp, the song. That particular style of Black worship sometimes strikes me as a caricature of joy, a shallow stereotype. But this caricature, this stereotype, is a narrow sliver of the complexity and the richness of Black spirituality and Black worship. The modes of Black spirituality that are the most powerful, nourishing, and nurturing for me aren't the stomp, shout, or song. Instead, I think of the rock, the sway, the bend, the moan, the hum. And I think of these things done in community. I marvel that in the midst of sadness and sorrow, In the midst of feeling the effects of generations of trauma wrought by racism and white supremacy, we can still find joy with each other. We are finding joy in each other. I call it Black joy because I am Black, and it is this joy that I have been familiar with my whole life. It is the joy that I have learned from Black people. It is the joy created through our collective healing, our laying down of burdens to be picked up and shared by our people, our community. This is not joy in spite of suffering, a mask put on to hide pain, an armor put on to push through pain. This is an embrace, holding and soothing us in our suffering. This Black joy is created through our being together. This Black joy reminds me that I am not alone, that trouble don't always last, that I am held and carried forward by a power beyond what I can comprehend.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in hymn number 368. Now let us sing.
So this was in two parts. If you have a lower voice, maybe take the bottom part. Higher voice, take all that runs through. Songs like this in our world right now, don't we? There is so much going on out there that is making me afraid on a daily basis, that is making me worried on a daily basis, that is making me sad on a daily basis. Sad and afraid and worried, not only for myself, but for my community, for people that I love, for our nation, for our world. There is so much going on, and we need moments of joy amidst all of that suffering, not in spite of it, not, as Kimberly Quinn Johnson reminds us, in order to ignore the suffering in our world, but we need it in the midst of it too. Lately, whenever I'm asked how I'm doing, one image comes to mind, and I probably should have set this image to read it. I put on the cover of the order of service so you'd all have it, but it's a copyrighted piece of art, and I didn't want to reproduce a copyrighted piece of art, but it's a cartoon that maybe you've seen. It's a comic drawn by K.C. Green about 10 years ago. And the panels of it have a little yellow dog wearing a hat sitting in a room that's on fire. Lots of nods. If you haven't seen it, just imagine a little yellow dog wearing a hat sitting in a room that's on fire. And in the second panel, the dog is saying, "This is fine." And so when I'm asked how I'm doing these days, and I say, "I'm fine," I feel like it needs an asterisk, right? I feel like it needs an asterisk with an explanation of exactly what kind of fine I am.
I look to a world that is on fire right now, and I understand that the cruelty of what is going on all around us is exactly the point. It is meant to tire us out. It is meant to wear us out. It is meant to overwhelm us and make us unable to respond to any of it. It's meant to make us stuck in that place of sadness, in that place of worry, in that place of fear, so that the people who are doing what they're doing, who are amassing the power that they are amassing, who are hoarding the wealth that they are hoarding, can continue on doing those things unabated. I am reminded that there are reasons that people who are subjected to systemic oppression in this world have shorter lifespans than people who are not. It is because those forces have impacts on our body. They raise stress levels, they raise cortisol levels, they literally wear out our hearts too early. My beloveds who are incarcerated, and by the time I get here next, I'll update that bio. We've just passed 2,000 incarcerated Unitarian Universalist members in the congregation I serve. Remind me again and again that studies have shown that the systemic abuses, stresses, isolation, and dehumanization of our prison systems, for one example, mean that every year someone spends in prison, their life expectancy decreases by 2. And it is true right now that the stresses of our world, of our administration, of what is going on outside these walls are not being evenly distributed. But let's be clear, all of us are feeling them in some way. All of us who have an empathetic heart, all of us who love, all of us who are connected to this world are feeling them in some way. Because even if we are not directly under attack, we know people who are. We care about people who are, and we're feeling them. And into all of this comes a phrase that I love, coined in this beautiful version by poet Toy Derricott, who wrote, "Joy is an act of resistance." Now, Toy Derricott, a Black American poet, took this phrase from her experience. And so I want to be really clear that joy is an act of resistance comes from generations of experiences of Black women who have been uniquely targeted in our society at the intersection of racism and misogyny. But it is a beautiful distillation of philosophy and theology. And when those women were forced to, in their words, make a way out of no way in order to keep going, they learned that to embrace joy with their whole beings, with their bodies, with their bellies, with their skin, was to resist the forces that would kill them. Sojourner Truth, who was in her youth enslaved not far from here, up New York's Hudson Valley, once said, "I will not allow the light of my life to be determined by the darkness around me." She was determined to shine, even in the worst situations she was put into. Black lesbian feminist poet and icon Audre Lorde, who grew up not far from here down the Hudson River in New York City, wrote about how joy lives in the body, open and fearless, she said, as a response to art or creativity or intellectual stimulation or an intimate connection with another human being. That self-connection shared, Audre Lorde wrote, is a measure of the joy which I know myself to be capable of feeling, a reminder of my capacity for feeling. And that deep and irreplaceable knowledge of my capacity for joy comes to demand from all of my life that it be lived with the knowledge that such satisfaction is possible. Audre Lorde knew that because she was capable of feeling joy, that she was called to live that joy in the world. Asian American author Lorraine Lamb writes about learning to embrace joy. Joy is an act of resistance, she writes, has breathed new life into justice work, especially in Black feminism. I was recently at a concert where singing, dancing, and jamming out with an entire crowd of people sent electric waves of energy through my body, Lamb writes. Why I picked those hymns today, so thank you very much, Blake, for giving us all the experience of those electric waves of singing and joy through our bodies. Lorraine Lamb goes on, for a brief moment I felt like we could do anything. This is the energy of joy. Audre Lorde reminds us that joy gives us the energy to change, to resist the oppressive structures and the status quo that make us tired and apathetic and withdrawn, an exhaustive oppression that holds us all back. But in the face of this paralysis, joy is an act of resistance. Communities hammered down by systemic oppression wave a giant "we will not be defeated" flag by continuing to have joy in the face of it all. Think about those "we will not be defeated" flags that you know. This is why LGBTQIA+ pride exists. It is a "we will not be defeated" flag in the face of those who would oppress. Think about why Black Lives Matter banners are so important. They are "we will not be defeated" flags that fly in the face of people who would do otherwise. So today we are instructed to find some joy. To find some joy, especially that flies directly in the face of what we are being told we are not supposed to find joy in. Today, I wonder if we can find joy in gender expansiveness, beloved. If we can find joy in diversity, equity, and inclusion for all people. If we might find joy in protesting and reading and creating connections with one another, in making sure that we know that we are not isolated from one another. If we might find joy in helping communities that have been destroyed by disaster rebuild, even in the face of them being told that they are on their own to do that. Now, joy is not the only resistance that we're expected to mount. I'm not giving you an easy out to the resistance that we all need to mount together to the fire that is going on around us. It is not all that we are asked to do. It is not sufficient resistance, but it is necessary resistance, beloved. Gay writer Dan Savage tells us a story about this, a story that resonates particularly with me as someone who grew up gay in New York City in the 1980s. During the darkest days of the AIDS crisis, Dan Savage writes, "We buried our friends in the morning, we protested in the afternoon, and we danced all night. The dance kept us in the fight because it was the dance we were fighting for. It didn't look like we were going to win, and then we did. It doesn't feel like we're going to win now, but we could. Keep fighting," Dan Savage reminds us, "and keep dancing." We are reminded when we embrace joy, with all of our bodies, when we feel that joy welling up in us, when we do not shy away from the belly laugh or the dance or the song, when we do not shy away from the connections that with people that we love, that bring us the joy in our lives, when we fly that joy flag in the face of all that is going on in our world, in the face of the fires that are burning all around us, we are reminded of what it is that we are fighting for. We are fighting for the capacity in every human being to thrive. Each of us has the capacity to thrive. Each of us has the capacity to feel joy. Each of us has the capacity to be more, to be connected, to be free in this world. And until each of us has the ability to do that, we have to keep going. We have to keep mounting resistance. We have to keep envisioning what it is that we are fighting for. And that joy helps us do it. Now, we don't have to pretend that it's fine. The flames around us that are burning people that we love and maybe us. We don't have to pretend that the creeping fascism in our country is fine or okay or in some way forgivable. We don't have to turn away from the horrors that we read in the news every day. Our government sending people without due process to a concentration camp in El Salvador. We don't have to pretend that that is not happening in order to embrace our joy. We have to do the work to oppose it. But the joy keeps us going. The joy reminds us that life is worth it. The joy connects us to one another. And in all of these ways, joy becomes a necessary act of resistance. May we cultivate this joy together, beloved. We have another hymn. If you would rise in body or in spirit and sing with me, hymn number 29. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee.
blessed to enjoy. We do this in the spirit of love and generosity, aware that those who have gone before us, aware that we have benefited from those who have gone before, those who in their turn gave generously. Our offering goes to support the work of love and justice undertaken by this community. This month, our collection will be shared with Open Arms for Refugees, a community sponsorship organization, bringing together neighbors, houses of worship, community organizations, and key service providers in Ossining, Cold Spring, and surrounding towns, with the shared mission of welcoming and integrating federally sponsored refugees into our communities. For more information, please visit their website, openarmsforrefugees.org. You can make your donation in several ways. If present in the sanctuary, you may give cash or check in the offering plate as it comes by. From your homes, you can make your donation via credit card or PayPal using the links provided in the e-newsletter or by visiting our website, uuchudsonvalley.org. Or if you prefer, you may always mail us a check. The offering will now be given and gratefully received. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of faith. Now please join me in extinguishing the chalice. The words are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our benediction today comes from my friend and colleague, Karen Oloya. She writes, "Joy is the moment, instance of relief from heavy burdens threatening to bury you. Joy is a spark, a flash of good, the dipping of a toe in a lake of cold water on the hottest of days. Joy is furious movement, beats that soak deep in marrow, thumping, turning, moving. Joy is whatever you need to appreciate. The split-second memory holds on."